All right, let you
Hi.
go.
Oh, okay, we're going.
Yeah, we're going.
Welcome to our
Totally.
podcast. All things outrageously dark, scary, beautiful, and totally true. We are your hosts. I'm Katie.
And I'm Kelly.
Wait, you guys, I think this is our podcast. I think
What?
this is the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
What?
Yeah.
Are you in
Katie,
the right place?
There was the glitch in the matrix.
did we hack into the wrong podcast?
I think so.
Nichole, Gabrielle, it's so good to see you guys.
Are we going to collab? Is this a collaboration that people didn't know that they needed?
Hey, fuck it, yeah. Let's go.
All
Let's do
right.
Why not?
Hey guys, welcome to the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I'm so glad you popped in because we're talking about the history of witchcraft today.
Hey.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys popped in.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We're so glad we popped into
Who's crashing
you.
this party? I don't even know. We're going to crash each other's parties, I think.
I love it. We love crashing parties, right, Katie?
We do. We're creating a supernova podcast right now.
Ooh.
Podcast.
The people are not ready.
I don't know if they are, but it's going to happen anyways. So hold on to your
Yes.
butts, people.
And your titties, as we do here.
Titties, yes.
TNA guys, hold on to it all.
Yeah. Well, are you guys ready? Because we're going to take it way back.
Yes.
We
Like
are
way back.
so ready.
So excited.
All right. So like I said, we're talking about witchcraft. One of the first mentions of witchcraft was in the book of Samuel. So the first testament, they're the first
I was going
book.
to say, what is that?
I don't
You're
exactly.
talking to a heathen here. I don't know. Is that like a Bible? Is that like in the
It is.
Bible?
It's part of the Bible, but it's like the first part because there's like a New Testament and then the Old Testament. So
so
this
it's
is like the Old
the
Testament.
old.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So a book from the Bible, Samuel 1, allegedly written between 931 BCE and 721 BCE. Also, do you guys say BCE or BC?
I say BC.
What's BCE?
BCE?
Before Christian era,
Christian era.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We're trying to be as politically correct here as we can in between all of our cussing and political slurs. So we try to be politically
So
correct.
BC or BCE?
BCE. That's what I got going on right now.
Never heard it. Okay. I like it.
So between 931 BCE and 721 BCE, King Saul sought the witch of Endor to summon the dead Samuel and help his army defeat the Philistines. Another ancient example of witchcraft is found in Homer's iconic piece of literature, the Odyssey. You guys,
Like Homer
did you guys
Simpson?
have to?
Who's Homer?
No, the what was he? A Greek philosopher, Homer. Did you guys have to read the Odyssey when you
No.
guys were?
No.
But I've heard of it.
I didn't read it either. Well,
What
he
is it?
does. I have
Like
no
a classic
idea.
book.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a very classic book.
Very
Homer, he was
classic.
like a Greek philosopher, and he referenced one of his characters in the Odyssey, which that book was written in 800 BCE, was named. There's a couple different ways you can say this. Circe is one of them. So for the Game of
Like
Thrones
Game of Thrones.
people out there, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was a witch in Homer's The Odyssey, and basically in the Odyssey, the witch turned men into animals. The Circe lady. So in ancient Greek mythology, it also references magic and witchcraft with Hecate, the goddess of the moon, and another Circe was the sorcerer, daughter of Helos. So although these works are fiction to our own belief systems, archaeologists have found remnants of ancient witchcraft being performed throughout Greek society in the Golden Age nearly 2,500 years ago.
speaking of
wild.
Greece, you ladies
Yeah.
are like huge in Greece, right?
Yeah,
You guys
but
are like
that
rock
is
stars in
like-
Greece?
I
Oh
know.
yeah, the Greeks love us.
It's
Because
so-
we always talk about the Greeks. Like I don't know what it is.
They love you over there.
They
Well,
do love us.
We're going to have my boo thing on, and he's going to talk about some Greek mythology because he's really into it. So he has a tattoo of Odysseus and Circe on his arm, and she's turning all the men into pigs. It's one of his sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your
We
Bushi, is he Greek? Because I've heard you talk about him before and the way he says crevasse. Is he?
And crampon.
Yeah, is he what is he? Is he American?
I don't know. You know, guys, he's built like a refrigerator and he's covered in tattoos. It's all I know.
Get it, Katie. Get it. We love it. I can't wait to hear his. Matt's
Yeah,
been
he's
on
gonna
the
start
show
working
several
on it.
times, so
Yeah, Matt's been on a couple of times. It'll be great to have Ryan on because he does do all the Greek stuff, and we apparently are a big fan of the Greeks as well.
yeah. Well, they're a big fan of you. You guys
Vice
are
versa.
big in Greece.
Yes, we are.
Mhm.
So, for the Greeks, witchcraft practitioners were known as magi's. They were often seen as wise holders of the secrets, but also masters in mathematician and chemistry. They were often feared and lived on like the fringes of society due to their association with death, divination, and evil. I mean, we're basically magi's here, right?
Basically.
That's us. But magic also involved for them a wide range of practices, which included spells, evil prayers, cursed tablets, enhancing drugs, and deadly poisons, amulets, and powerful love potions.
What kind of enhancing drugs are we talking about here,
I
Kelly?
think mushrooms.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm thinking like, you know, performance
Cocaine,
enhancing
maybe.
drugs.
I was wondering what
I
kind
think
of
they did
love
a lot of
potions
that, too.
too.
I know. I think, well, yeah, the performance enhancing drugs with the love potions, it was getting crazy in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
They
Sounds
did
like a
have like
long night.
they did have some like sex parties back then, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean,
Or that was
everybody.
the Romans, right? I don't know.
I think
I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
Everybody, I think, back then probably.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So during this time, magic with a K prevailed, and eventually this is what became the origins of witchcraft. Archaeologists recently discovered hundreds of ancient Greek lead tablets called katares, which were primarily used to cast curses related to sporting and legal events. So even back then, they were like, "Oh, we need, I don't know, we need the Cowboys to win today."
You're like, it's only crazy if it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. These tablets were crafted in secret by magicians considered outlaws by the Athenian authorities. These tablets usually were placed in graves, wells, or fountains, as it was believed that the dead would be the ones to activate these curses inscribed on them. So the research involved in finding these. The researcher believed that the primary aim of these tablets was really to inflict harm on the intended targets. There was like not good magic going on back then.
Damn.
I know.
Dark
Like,
shit.
You,
But fun.
fuck you, curse, curse, curse.
You're cool.
Yeah, no curse for you. The ancient Greeks, like the Greeks, were not the only ones to incorporate magic and rich witchcraft. That was so hard to say for a second. Witchcraft into their culture. The Egyptians, they also have a very rich history of using spells and incantations with instructions on healing physical ailments, improving sex life,
Oh.
exorcisms. I know, love
Okay.
potions. Like this is all dating back to the 4th and 3rd centuries, like BCE. So magic and witchcraft was widely accepted and used openly in Egypt. However, in Greece in the 5th century BCE, the state sentenced a man and his family to death for being found guilty of harmful magic. So then going on to the 4th century BCE, a woman named Theoris, she was a well-known healer in Athens. She was also killed for distributing bewitching drugs and incantations. These were the first cases in history that I was able to find of people being killed for the accusations of witchcraft. And
Wild.
also, I know, right? Going all the way back, man, people have been burning witches for centuries.
Centuries.
I was listening to something. When was it? I think it was yesterday, and they were talking about the witch wound, which, you know, I mean, I think we've probably all heard of the witch wound out of the four of us, but they were saying how, and I don't remember how it applied, but just, you know, how we've been persecuted for centuries. And a lot of times we, especially if we're more drawn to this stuff, it's probably because we have lived it before. and how we're just so scared to do anything or to kind of come out and practice, not even practice spells or witchcraft, but just anything, because we have this deep remembering of, oh, this wasn't safe for me before. And we've all heard about the Salem
Yeah.
trials, but this is going back, I mean, way, way, way before that. So how many times has this happened? I wonder how many times, we all know Gabby's a witch. How many times was Gabby killed for being a witch?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're all
No,
witches
absolutely.
here, though, but thank you for saying
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100%
How many times did you
sure
lose
all
your life,
nurses
girl?
are witches.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the
Sorry,
Salem
I
witch
have-
trials were, I mean, that was crazy.
Mhm.
It's like, my wife doesn't have any friends and all she does is cook and clean and she can't vote and she's never had an orgasm and she cries all the time. So I think she's a witch.
Yeah.
We should probably kill her.
Or it's like the opposite. She orgasms all the time, has way too many friends, and the house is
Yeah.
always perfectly put together. She has to be a
something wrong
witch.
with
What's
her.
going on?
Yeah.
Like there's like no in between. Like
No in
they're
between.
Damned if
totally
you
a
do,
witch.
damned if you don't.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Women, we can never win.
Never,
Mm-mm.
never, never, never. All right. So, but you guys, as time went on, different religions or spiritual traditions began to emerge rather than just these like random one-offs of magi's on the outskirts of society. These religions, they began to include like paganism, Zoroastrianism, Plutonianism. We talked about a couple of them in our magic episode. There's multiple sects of like this magic type religion based. So in addition to these, the Greeks and the Romans during this time, like before the death of Jesus, they all believed in like multi-deities and gods. So this idea, like everything having a spirit, it wasn't weird or uncommon. Around 1800 BCE, so 1800 years before Jesus was killed, Judaism popped up and became one of the first monotheistic religions. And then, flash forward 1800 years, Jesus dies and Christianity begins in the middle of the first century, about 50 AD. So now we're after death, after Christ's death. And Christianity grew slowly at first in the Roman Empire. In fact, many Christians were actually persecuted and killed for their beliefs of only believing in one God. But in 319 AD, Emperor Constantine declared Christianity the official religion of Rome. The conversion to Christianity is what ultimately set off the persecutions of the pagans and other polytheistic religions in the region. And by the 800s, these religions had mostly disappeared. So that's kind of like what set the stage for what we know in, I don't know if it's even modern era, but like basically AD times as like the witchcraft and the witch hysteria.
I love how you brushed over that, Kelly. You're like, whatever, flash forward 1800 years, Jesus dies, and then here we are.
I know, because I don't know what happened in those times. Like 3 years.
Jesus dies, here we are.
Like 300 years is equal to 1 year. I don't know. It was so slow back then. What
Maybe
were
some
they
people
doing?
died, who knows, whatever.
Time isn't real,
There's
guys.
probably
They say time
something.
is like not a real thing. So
It's true. Time is a social construct.
Yeah.
There's probably wars or something. I don't know.
Something happened. Who knows? Whatever. So as time continued to pass, the world found itself in a period called the Little Ice Age in approximately 1300. So global temperatures dipped by an average of 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which really doesn't seem like a lot if you think about it, but globally it changes the climate. So
Climate change is real? Are you sure?
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
You're just telling me that now for the first time.
People keep telling me that it's fake, so I don't know. Now I'm hearing that it's real.
They are
I
not
don't know
the
what to
witches.
believe.
They're not witches.
So this severely affected Europe and North America, resulting in agricultural failures, contributing to crises like the Great Famine and the Black Death, which in turn led to social unrest, class conflict, and political instability.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I know. It seems like it's a
didn't see that
cyclical
coming.
thing,
Is
guys.
it 2023 here? Like, what's going on? I don't know.
Oh my God. After nearly a century of hardship, people, desperate for explanations for their suffering, increasingly blamed witches and witchcraft as the root cause of their woes. I mean, really, when it was just
Why
rich
not?
people,
I know.
you know.
Right?
Sorry, rich men.
It's really the
Rich
one
white men.
I mean, rich
Yeah.
white men was really the root of all the problems. But,
Yeah.
moving on.
know,
That never happens. Never.
No. It was women. It was witches for sure. In our research, we discovered that the first recorded accusation of witchcraft during this time was against Petronilla de Meath, and she was found guilty of consorting with the devil, and subsequently she was burned at the stake in County Kilkenny, Ireland, in 1324. I don't know how she was consorting with the devil, but let's see.
I think I also am consorting with the devil right now.
That's like a lot of fun.
Me too. Cheers.
And delicious.
Cheers to my demons. Please leave me alone for a little bit. Okay. Well, isolated incidences of witchcraft accusations and executions followed. Widespread witch hysteria had yet to take hold. The
That's hard to
first
say.
documented
It is.
witch hunt. It was a tongue twister. I'm also a little dumb, so it's okay. So the first documented witch hunt
That 8-hour
occurred.
drive you took yesterday.
Oh God!
It's got you
Don't
thrown
remind
off.
me. I know, I'm struggling. So it occurred in I don't know if I'm saying this right, Valais, Switzerland, in 1428.
Sounds right
good.
to me.
Yeah.
It lasted 8 years and resulted in the deaths of 367 people, most of whom were male peasants.
Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, okay.
Not the standard, but we're just starting off, okay?
Yeah.
No one really knows what's going on yet.
The victims were either beheaded or burned at the stake. To inflict a more merciful death, some burning victims had bags of gunpowder tied around their necks, which would essentially blow their heads off in the fire.
What?
So merciful.
So merciful. That was really nice of them to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
The visual that I have in my mind is insane right now.
Dude, history is crazier than fact, or what, fiction. History is
Yeah,
fact.
it is.
And how can the people who are tying, like, they're tying bags of gunpowder around people's necks and then burning them at the stake and be like, no, these people are evil. It's like, are you watching what you're doing to other
Yeah.
people? You're not evil.
Yeah.
You're
And
murdering
usually-
people by blowing their heads off and burning
in
them
like
in
the
fire.
most crazy way that you can. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, kids, you want to come check it out?
Can you watch?
Come on.
We're going to the witch burning, guys.
Yeah.
It's a family event. We'll get some churros. Okay. Okay. In 1431, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake. Although no one accused her of being a witch, it was determined that her heresy against the church was a quote-unquote blasphemy against God. And she had turned into a member of Satan.
Oh.
Basically, she was fighting the wrongdoings of the church, and that made her Satan. So she was burned at the stake on the counts of heresy. Ultimately, she was a witch by proxy.
Same.
Babe. Jinx. In 1484, Pope Innocent VIII, I don't know if I like that name.
Ironic.
Yeah.
He wrote a papal bull of an official church document denouncing witches and witchcraft. This document was seized by a German inquisitor and priest named Heinrich Kramer. From this papal bull, Kramer wrote a highly influential book on witchcraft called Malleus, oh my God,
Yeah, good luck.
Maleficarum?
Sounds
Is that-
right.
So.
Sure. Latin for Hammer of the Witches.
Oh.
This book was released in 1486, and it marked a turning point in history. From this year forward, witch hysteria took Europe by storm, and the Protestants and Catholics pushed this agenda as a way to flesh out witches living amongst them. Kramer's book detailed the sensational life of a witch and alleged that witches regularly eat children, have sex with the devil, and cause deadly harm and mayhem to society at large.
Sounds like just another Tuesday.
Well, it sounds like that's what his book is doing. So I'm just going to throw that out there. For more than 100 years, the book sold more copies than any other book in Europe, with the exception of the Bible.
Of course.
So basically these people were reading the Bible and watching Fox News.
Oh my God. That's like our dad. Oh no, he doesn't watch Fox News anymore, he said.
Okay. All right. At this time, a legal
This is not politically correct
Right.
at all.
Very PC. A legal scholar in southern Germany was asked to refute Kramer's book. Ulrich Molitor was a moderate, and while he believed executions for criminals, he did not believe in witchcraft and demonic sabbaths. Molitor wrote his own book in response called De Lemis et Pythonicis. Oh my God, Kelly, Mollibaris.
Yeah, just go to
Molaribus?
and fortune teller.
Yeah, of witches and fortune tellers / diviner women.
Us. It's us.
Yes. The book was first illustrated.
He could have called it Kelly, Nichole, Gabrielle, and Katie. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what? We're going to rebrand.
Yeah,
We're just
rebrand
right now. It's
The
done.
government likes to.
It's done.
So the book was the first illustrated book on witches and depicted scenes of women shooting arrows, flying on pitchforks, and 2 witches around a cauldron. His intention was to portray witches as satire, but unfortunately, his book had the opposite effect and reaffirmed the images the public had already created in their minds. It's
Classic.
like, I just see, history repeating itself.
Usually
So,
does, right?
we're going to take a quick test to see if you'd be considered a witch during this time.
Okay.
All right. Say aye if any of these questions apply to you.
All right.
You are female.
I.
You are poor and cannot support yourself financially.
I.
I actually can.
Am I poor
Okay.
singly or
I know.
like
Yeah.
what if I'm married and my husband's not poor?
Well,
What if I wasn't married? No.
if you weren't married, would you be able to support yourself financially?
Damn right I could.
Okay. You are rich and can support yourself financially.
I.
No, not rich, but
You have one or more female friends.
I.
Yes.
Okay. You've had a disagreement with someone.
I.
No.
You are-
I'm a Libra.
You are married with too few children or no children.
I.
Hey. You are a healer.
I.
You have exhibited stubborn or strange or forward behavior. Aye. You have a mole or a birthmark.
I.
You have had sex out of wedlock. Never. I never.
Just call me Mother Mary over here. Conception.
What is that?
What's sex out of wedlock, guys? I don't even know.
I don't understand.
I.
So we're all witches, apparently. We'd be
Shit.
burned at the stake, guys.
Great.
I bet Matt would be too.
I'm only 4 out of 5, but you're definitely a witch.
There were also physical tests which hunters would make the accused undertake to determine if they were a witch. One of them was a pin test. An accused would be poked with a sewing pin, and if they did not bleed, they were considered a witch. Some hunters carried retractable pins, so if the accused never bled, they were a witch. Why? Just so they could kill women?
Yeah.
Tight.
Sounds
Okay.
legit.
Another method to determine witchhood was the quote-unquote swimming of witches. The accused were stripped naked and thrown into a river with a rope tied around their waist. If they floated, they were a witch. And if they sank, they were innocent and they would be pulled from the water by rope. However, many people drowned by this method.
And then, so what happened when they drown? What do they say? Whoops.
They're like, no, she died. They're gonna be like, she's dying. She died and went to heaven because she's not a witch, right?
She's not a witch. Good for her.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
We did her a favor.
Yeah. Now she will never be a witch.
Yeah.
Because we killed her before she
We
could
saved
become
her
one.
soul. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were accused of witchcraft, you were essentially considered guilty from the outset and subjected to brutal forms of torture in an attempt to extract a confession. This torment often led to death. If you survived, you were usually found guilty and burned at the stake anyways. These men were fucking cool, man.
I know. I don't think I want to be alive during that time. I probably was.
I wonder, what do you think? Because back then it was just kind of like the norm, right? So what do you think people are going to say about us in 400 years? Like, are they going to say, man, like, fuck that time. I wouldn't want to be alive during then. Or like, as I look back, I wonder.
They're going to probably be like, I can't believe they didn't think aliens were real.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, look at how rudimentary their technology was.
Yeah.
Like, like what we're recording on right now is basically like a cassette tape.
Right? An 8-track.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, why do they have an Atari that they're recording on?
Yeah. Why are their microphones so big? Why are they wearing headphones, right? It's just, everything's implanted at that point. Like, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild. It'll start to happen once, we don't have octogenarians in charge, but
Hopefully soon.
hopefully, I don't know. People in their 80s.
Well, Diane Feinstein just died.
90. She was 90.
She was 90.
I know, like when I saw like a TikTok when a guy's like, people are like, what happened? How'd she die? She's 90. She's kind of old.
Old age. Natural causes? I don't know.
You guys saw her. Her skin was melting off of her face. Like she was the Walking Dead anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
They were just wheeling her in there.
Yeah.
And wheeling her out.
There has to be a cutoff. I think today we make the stand.
We were talking about that last night. Yeah, we were talking about term limits last night.
There just needs to be so I don't think it should be necessarily an age. I think it should go off of like how many medications you take. You take more than 5, you're done.
Done.
Like, you're
If you're taking Diprovan, you've got to go.
Yeah.
Whatever the Alzheimer's med is.
Yeah. If you are taking a diuretic and have to get up from a congressional meeting more than twice, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
If your ejection fraction is under 50%, you're done.
Yes. For sure.
Okay, sorry. I went off the rails there, guys. Okay, back to witchcraft. Here we go. One of the biggest collective of witch hunts took place in Bamberg, Germany. It started in 1626 when several local farmers approached authorities to inquire about why the frost had destroyed their crops. Obviously, we know it's women. The farmers insisted the witches and wizards were responsible for their loss, and the Prince Bishop Johann George Fuchs, I'm just kidding, Fuchs Dornheim launched an investigation.
Are you German?
Totally not. Obviously, I look very German. The investigation lasted for 5 years until 1631. During those 5 years, 1,000 people were convicted and 900 of them were killed. The torture in this witch hunt went unregulated and resulted in victims confessing to acts such as witches' Sabbath, malevolent magic, and sexual intercourse with Satan and his minions.
Oh.
The victims were so brutally tortured that they often gave names of their neighbors in an attempt to stop their own pain. Torture methods included use of thumb screws, leg vices, and strappado. What's a strappado, Kelly?
I looked it up. It's like the one where they strap all of your limbs and then they crank
And stretch you out?
Yeah, they stretch you out.
That sounds
Okay.
like it would be nice for a little bit, like a little bit of action, but then it's just like, oh, you're pulling
Once you get
too far now.
you get along, but you get beyond that tipping point, and then you
Yeah.
just lose your limbs. You
Yeah.
know.
Like I would probably welcome
not
it
good anymore.
initially for a second, but then stop. Too far.
Like, she wants us to stop. She's a witch,
Safe
clearly.
Safe word.
Yeah.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Fruit salad. What is it?
Fuck, I forgot.
Finally, a husband of one of the accused managed to travel to nearby Nuremberg, where he complained to the emperor. Shortly after the complaint, the prince bishop was removed from his position and the witch hunt ended. However, over this 5-year period, the prince bishop made a handsome profit from seizing the land of the victims he killed. Now I see. Now I see the...
Capitalism, baby.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it always goes back to that, my husband says.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
Rich white men, dude. Telling you. Witch hysteria had been prevalent in Europe for over 100 years before it reached American colonies in 1647, with Alice Young of Windsor, Connecticut, becoming the first person condemned and executed by hanging. The second woman to be executed, Alice Lake, was accused of witchcraft following the death of her baby. Despite her denials, she was found guilty and hanged in, oh my God, I can't say.
Dorchester.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Not Dorchester.
Oh, that's good too, though.
My old
Massachusetts.
therapist was from Boston, and the way he would pronounce it was very impressive.
How do you say
Okay.
it?
We should call him up.
I can't even mimic.
I think it's Dorchester.
like-
Dorchester, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
I
really
know.
hard. Yeah, but the way he said it just rolled off his tongue. I was like, oh, okay.
And so she
They're
was
so
hanged. She was hanged. I don't understand how they say anything. It's like saying Worcestershire sauce.
That's like the hardest word to say.
I don't even understand it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So she was hanged in 1651. And then the infamous Salem witch trials took place later, starting in January of 1692 and lasting until the spring of 1693. During this period, 200 individuals were convicted of witchcraft. 19 were hanged on Gallows Hill, and one man, Giles Corey, was crushed to death under heavy stones. Yikes. In 1711, colonial authorities pardoned some of the accused and compensated their families. However, it wasn't until July 2022 that the last victim was officially exonerated from the Salem witch trials. What?
Like
2022?
Yeah.
Like last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
They finally were like, you're not a witch. She wasn't a witch.
They finally, okay, we have time to circle back around. Let's do this. Let's
Or
look
do it
back.
around
We
here.
fucked up.
So your history shouldn't repeat itself. Maybe we should look at this.
Have you guys been to Salem?
I
Yeah.
have actually. It's really
I
cool.
have not. No.
You haven't, Katie?
No. I think
We're
we're
going next year.
Yes. Want to
Ooh,
go
can we
in
tag along?
October.
Yes, because then we
Absolutely.
can hook up with our boys.
And then we can do a recording out there.
Yes.
Triple collab.
Yes,
Oh
they
my-
have
that
an
would be
amazing.
chaos. In like the best way.
It would be chaos. They have like a witch's ball, which sounds like a really cool. It's like
Oh.
basically a rave, but it'd
What?
Be
Oh.
cool. Yes.
Nicole, make sure you're not pregnant by that time so we can figure
Don't be
this
quick
out.
with child here.
I feel like that would be the time that I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
It's
never
okay.
get
You
to do
can
anything
be our
fun.
DD.
I'd be like, all right, see you later, baby. I gotta go. Mommy needs to party with witches.
Let's see. So going back to Europe, accusations, persecutions, and torture of witches was still going strong, while simultaneously streaming up the American colonies. But new political issues were beginning to overtake the hysteria in Europe, such as the 30-Year War, which caused political instability. A new era of thinking, known as the Enlightenment, was also taking hold. I'm guessing they weren't very enlightened, but let's see here.
What they do?
Right. With the Enlightenment, people were encouraged to use critical thinking for themselves, which led to a more rational approach to witchcraft and superstition. Was there a rational approach to it? I don't know.
I think this is more rational than what they were doing.
That's true. Many European countries began to pass laws abolishing witch hunts, and in 1782, the last witch in Europe was sentenced to death. Good for them. Okay.
Yeah.
Between the years of 1400 and 1782, it is estimated that somewhere between 70,000 and 100,000 people, mostly women, were executed for witchcraft in Europe. Exact numbers are unknown because of the time. And I'm sure they weren't like recording all the deaths. They were just like,
No.
toss another one in the fire.
Yeah.
These numbers were significantly lower in the U.S. colonies. There were only about 40 people killed for witchcraft in the colonies. The hysteria did hit the colonies pretty hard, but it became apparent to authorities that many of the accused witches were being accused over personal feuds rather than actual witchcraft, which is okay.
Sounds
Good job
accurate.
recognizing that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Progressive.
Yes, very good, guys. Way to not
Good
just
job,
murder
US.
people for no reason. Okay. Many colonies began to ignore the accusations or give a lesser sentence than death to those accused. Good job. I mean,
What was a lesser sentence, though?
you know,
think
just
it
getting
was
your
like-
probably just getting your fingernails pulled off. You know,
Ooh, I felt that.
something
little-
simple, something minor. You know,
Strapato past the tipping
You
point,
know.
but not so far that your limbs come off.
crushing all of your toes, I think, is fair. I'm just kidding. I don't really know.
I think it was just like a jail sentence. Like, okay, 17 months for you, which
Yeah, but their jails back then were,
Gross, right?
yeah,
I mean, not that they're much better now, but
yeah.
unless you're Martha Stewart and you go to one of those like resort kind of.
Yeah, all the white collar crimes.
white
they're
collar
like,
crime
yeah,
jail.
That's the prison I want to go to.
yeah,
How
yeah.
do I get there?
Let's see, where was I? I lost my spot. Here we go. Okay, in the summer of 1706, Grace Sherwood would be the last witch hung in the colonies. She was found guilty in Virginia Beach after failing the water test because people.
Yeah, it's
They
one or the
needed
other.
science in their life, I think. She was able to float in the river, so it was determined that she was the devil. She had not been exonerated for her crimes, although people of Virginia have a petition out to their local politicians to clear her name. Has she
So
been
she's-
cleared now?
No, she still hasn't.
Oh, I thought I said the last one had been exonerated, but she still has
No,
not
in
been.
Salem they have been, but this lady
Oh.
hasn't. So the people in
God.
like Virginia Beach are like, "Hey, can we like let her go?"
They're like, have
She's
you
not a
seen
witch.
horror movies? She's gonna come back. She's coming back. They're like, please. Everyone will keep copies of their petitions for when she comes back. Like, I signed it. I signed it. Kill him. So the one thing that differs between the colonies and Europe, other than the number of people killed, is the witches were hung rather than burned at the stakes. This is because the colonies were ruled by England, and in English law, hanging was the punishment of choice for capital crime. I mean, so much more civilized, honestly.
Yeah.
It's I had to think about it. If I had to choose a way to go, I would probably choose that, right? I don't think I'd want to be burned.
I don't know. I mean, if I was just going to get my head blown off by some gunpowder, that'd be pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I think you'd have to your feet would have to get burned.
Oh, yeah, that would blow.
I think
for
I'd
sure.
prefer being hung.
Yeah. Just
I think I'd prefer to not be accused of witchcraft just for floating in a fucking river. But
Yeah.
I'll
start
down.
there. Let's start there.
be like, read a science book. You're the devil.
You like throw a biology book. You're like, witch.
What is this book of spells?
It's a chemistry book. It's recipes.
My God. Okay. So, as we discussed, the era of witchcraft and witch hunts was initially triggered by the hardships of the Little Ice Age. As
It
desperate
sounds
people,
so cute.
I know, little Ice Age, a little Ice Age.
It wasn't good.
It's like should be a stuffed animal.
Yeah. It's a cute little ice age. As desperate people sought explanations for their suffering, both Protestant and Catholic churches seized on this fear to assert their influence, proclaiming that witches were the culprits who must be purged from society. Opportunistic individuals, primarily men, shocker, exploited this climate to enrich themselves, accusing people in mass, then seizing their land and assets upon their execution. It's worth noting that similar witch accusations and burnings were occurring in Latin America, Africa, and Asia based on principles akin to those in Europe.
Interesting.
Just kind of a global issue at the time.
Yeah, I think it was much more seen in Europe.
I
but
would
it
I
was still
would
happening.
think like South America, yeah, that makes sense. Africa makes sense. I don't think I would have thought Europe or not Europe, sorry, Asia.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. There, it
Interesting.
was just like kind of all over. But you know what is also crazy now that we've talked about like the history of it? Like we do view this time as like a very dark time in history of days gone by. But what many people don't know is that people are still being beaten, tortured, and killed over accusations of witchcraft.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's estimated that at least 36 nations around the world still persecute witches.
W-
Several,
Do we have
yeah,
a list?
yeah. I have highlighted a few of them. I didn't go all 36, but some of the likes will be like Ghana, Nigeria, Papua New Guinea, Nepal, even Brazil, Saudi Arabia,
Mm,
Tanzania, and India.
Wow.
India.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Not
So
gone
much
there.
like
Yeah.
I know. Just be careful where
you're
you
gonna float. They're gonna
go.
throw you in the water,
Yeah.
guys.
Again.
It's like weird because they have like the baptism rituals, like throw yourself into the Ganges. It's like, oh, she floats. Nope. Like, what? I know, you're just like trying to cleanse my spirit. I don't
Listen, there
know.
is so much methane in that Ganges River that everybody's going to float.
It's like
We're
the
all
Dead
witches.
Sea.
We're all dying.
Yeah. So much like the old days, these new age witches are similarly accused of causing disease, poor crops, bad weather, and other unfortunate events that cannot be explained by the local people's knowledge of science or like really lack thereof. So most commonly, this is seen in impoverished and undereducated regions. Accusing and killing of innocent people of witchcraft is basically like the way for these communities to feel some sort of protection against the maleficent forces of afflicting their wellness and some sort of control during these times. So
That's
just a couple,
wild.
it is crazy. So I just want to highlight a couple examples, which are going to be a little bit brutal. In 2009, a young girl in New Guinea was accused of being a witch and infecting men with HIV. So she was burned at the pyre. It's called a pyre, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And I know. In Tanzania, albino people are ritualistically killed for their skin and body parts. Since 2007, more than 50 albinos have been killed in the name of the Tanzanian witch doctors who believe that their skin and hair will bring their clients good luck. And ironically, between the years of 1960 to 2000, 40,000 alleged witches in Tanzania were murdered. So they have like a really weird cognitive dissonance going on in that country where they want to
Yeah.
kill these albinos for their witchcraft, but then they also kill witches just for killing witches.
Just for fun.
Funsies.
Wow.
Yeah. In the Republic of Benin, this is a really, really tragic one. So, in the Republic of Benin, which I actually don't know where that is, babies who are born feet first or butt first, or basically any way besides head first, are considered witches, and they're often abandoned or killed.
Oh.
I know.
God.
I know.
I wonder. So, I mean, and you guys are nurses, so you would know better. But typically, from what I hear, right, if a baby is feet first or butt first, they typically have to try to adjust the baby so that it does come out head first. But do they ever come out feet first, or do they ever come out butt first? Like,
Yeah.
they'll let them do. Oh, okay. So it isn't always that they have to go in and like do whatever to adjust it.
No, they'll definitely try to adjust first, and then I think that, and Katie, you can always obviously correct me if I'm wrong. I know, like the coming out like breech it's not as common as it used to be. I think doctors would significantly prefer to do a C-section over anything, and I think today they probably make you have a C-section if the baby's going to be breech. But I know back in like the 60s and 70s, that wasn't uncommon at all, and it was a harder way to deliver a baby, but it wasn't like they're not going to kill the baby because of
Right.
it, and they're going to do the best that they can to get those babies out.
I think that's why I was wondering. So it's like, okay, if it's like, well, the baby was going to be out feet first or butt first, and we adjust it, we're still going to do whatever with the baby because they were gonna come out that way, even though we fixed it. Like I just wonder if it would be something like that.
That's so fucking sad either way.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
know. And I looked it up. The Republic of Benin is in West Africa.
Okay. Could have guessed.
I think I have some of that in my blood. Like Benin and Togo's on my ancestry.
Oh, that's cool.
Really cool.
It's like, I don't know where it's at though. Yeah, I was like, I think it's Africa, but I don't know where in Africa. So
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, people would prefer not to have their baby that way because it's a harder birth.
yeah.
And
It's
I mean, I've
painful.
never had a baby, but I hear it's really, really painful to try to get the babies to move. Like if they are butt first
Oh.
and the mom's about to go in labor, to have that like massage that the midwives or the nurses do, I hear that's really, really painful for the
I
mom.
had that massage post birth. That was awful.
Oh,
I think it like maybe. Well, I had an epidural, so I didn't feel much. So probably worse than childbirth. Yep. Oh man. Okay.
Okay, so you guys, from 2000 to 2016, official records indicate that 2,500 Indian women were killed due to accusations of witchcraft. Although the numbers are believed to be much higher, the witch hunts in India are deeply rooted in the interplay of the caste system, patriarchy, and superstition. Similarly, in Ghana in 2020, a 90-year-old woman lost her life after being beaten and accused of witchcraft.
In
Jesus.
2020 and 90 years old. Are you fucking kidding? Like,
I know.
That's crazy.
It is.
she would have just died from natural causes like Dianne Feinstein if they would have just like let her be.
just let her be a witch.
Just let her be. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I hope she
Yeah.
hunts them.
Yeah. I
Oh,
know.
she will.
Yeah. Persecutions like this, they really persist in these regions, and they often manifest as like large scale organized witch hunts, which is just terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there are, though, many advocacy groups around the world fighting to end witch hunts and the murder of innocent people, which would be also like equivalent to a witch hunt. Ironically, one of these organizations is the Catholic Church, which I think is great. Yeah.
Oh,
Good job.
well, they should repent for all the fucking shit.
We have a
'Cause
lot to make up
They
for.
a little bit started it. They have a little culpability in this movement. So
I know. And part of me wishes we would have like recorded this in August, because Pope Francis, he declared August 10th World Day Against Witch Hunts.
Oh.
Yeah, which is cool. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We had like, I think like National Podcast Day was just, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or something. And it's like,
Oh, we missed
we
that.
should celebrate. We did too. But this is a day I can get on board with. World Day
Yes.
Against Witch Hunts.
Yeah. Let's celebrate
Yeah.
next year. Put it
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
calendars.
We'll all get together
Mm-hmm.
with
do
all
some
of the
witchy
witches.
stuff.
Yay.
We'll do a spell.
Ooh.
That'd be great. For abundance.
God.
Yeah.
I would love that. Well, that's it, you guys. That's all we got on witches.
Oh,
Loved
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
that was not depressing at all. So that was cool.
Oh, man, you guys.
That's crazy. Like the fact that it's still happening. Like,
I know.
yeah.
That's
It
really
is.
sad.
You know what? Good. I mean, I hesitate to say it, but good job, United States. Good job, America, that we're not doing that. I don't think we're on that list anymore. I hope we've learned our lessons, but I can see how we could go backwards, and I hope we don't. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that if we do, I think the witches are ready this time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever.
We've been training for decades, like centuries.
We're organized now.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. We're organized.
Much more organized and efficient. We got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, ladies, for coming
Yeah.
on.
So
For
fun.
we didn't talk about it in the beginning, but this was like our spooky season collab that we were so excited about. So this
Yes.
is part 1 of spooky season collab, and now we're gonna hop over to Katie and Kelly's show all things outrageously dark, scary, beautiful, and totally true. I said it in one breath.
Yes.
Yay. And you
Yes.
didn't
Did you
even
hear
take
that,
a big,
Ryan and Scott? Did you
yeah,
guys
you
hear
didn't even
that?
take a big breath like they do. He's like,
I did it in one shot. So anyway, so we're gonna hop over to that show. So if you guys want to listen to your very own Gabrielle, go ahead and do that over there, and we're gonna keep the witch talk going.
But make sure to follow our girls, rate and review.
Rate and review them,
Yeah,
guys.
please.
5 stars, please. If you guys rate and review them, can you please let them know? Can you please send them a screenshot? They would love
that's
it.
fun.
Yeah, that way
We
they can
do
give you
love
guys
that.
a shout out.
Yes, we love
And say
shout
hello.
outs.
Yes.
we do love shout outs. Yes.
Do it, guys. Do it. They're huge in Greece. Like they are
join the club, guys.
they're rock stars in Greece, guys. Like the time, don't jump on the bandwagon later.
Yeah.
Like do it now.
Yeah.
And we have a super fan in Wales too, right, Kelly?
Yes,
Oh.
we do.
Yeah.
And in I feel like there's like we have some repeat listeners in like England. I can't
Mhm.
I love that.
Cheshire, England, which is like so.
Mhm.
It's just fun to see like the repeat
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah.
And
I don't know you.
Lancaster, was it Lancaster too?
Lampier.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Where?
It's a place in Wales. Lampier. We're probably saying it wrong. Lampier.
Mm,
We say Lampier.
interesting.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So go check them
Yeah.
out, guys. And
Yeah.
go follow us over there to listen to Gabrielle continue the witch talk.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Witches till we die, baby.
Yeah. Witches unite.
Yeah.
Woohoo! And as always, have the
Have the
day.
day you deserve. That was really good, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.